Hello, hello. Welcome to In Step with God, a YouTube channel, a blog, a media platform, and sensation dedicated to educating and encouraging curious Christians. My name is JT Martin. I am the host, primary author, and editor of all of this. What do I mean by educating and encouraging curious Christians? That's the tagline, that's the mission statement, that's the vision. So, what does it mean? Well, when it comes to education, I feel drawn towards being a teacher, being somebody who's there to help people understand the world around them, understand their Bibles, understand church history, and a whole host of other topics. And so I'm educating, I'm informing, I'm providing instructional material and guidance, encouraging. I'm doing what I can to lift people up, to be a motivator, to be somebody that's there when they start to struggle with their educational pursuits or their life choices or just the way that things are going for them. I'm there to encourage. And who's the them? Well, curious Christians, Christians who are curious about their faith, about what it means to walk with God. That's the idea behind the name, In Step with God. We're called to be walking in the path and in the steps that God has laid out for us and walking with him, being in step with him. And so that's a huge part of what all of this is about, is helping people learn how to do that in their own life. And so what do we do on the podcast? Well, the In Step with God podcast is where I invite experts and occasionally a second guest to dig into topics that I think are relevant to our culture. They're relevant to the education of Christians and Christian thinking. And they're conversations I was going to be having anyway. And I just kind of got it laid on my heart to put those out for public eye. And so that's the podcast. Well, what about the blog? The blog is basically me documenting what I'm seeing in culture, my own private thoughts, my own research thoughts, and the things that I'm learning. Occasionally, in the Impact of Apologetics page, you'll see other people's thoughts on how apologetics has influenced them and their lives and their loved ones in various stages of their life. And so that's part of what's happening on the blog. And then the YouTube channel is going to be kind of a mix mash. So we're going to have teaching series. There's book reviews like the Fault Lines one that we're in the middle of right now. And just kind of, reacting to Christian content, reacting to Christian theological positions and talking about them, and kind of breaking things down on more of a down-to-earth level than maybe sometimes the podcast is. The podcast can get very academic, the blog can get very, very academic, but the YouTube channel is meant to be more of the boots on the ground, down to earth, just this is what's going on. And so a lot of it's going to be more cultural issues. So if there's a major book, there's a book that's starting to have massive influence, I'll probably be doing a breakdown and a review. And then there's, just boots on the ground theology. Like, what does it mean to be living my life for God? What does it mean to have a well-furnished faith? How do I approach God in prayer? These are the kinds of things that we'll be dealing with on the YouTube channel. And at times, there's going to be links to different Q&As that I'm part of or different conferences and things like that. And so things are going to be changing as God leads me to where he's calling me. And so this is In Step with God. I'm excited for it. I'm encouraged by what God has done and is doing. And I hope that you would consider subscribing and supporting me in what I'm doing. You can support via Patreon, or if you're interested in other kinds of support, reach out to me. And yeah, let's have a blast. God bless.